Well, good evening, everybody. Or, well, let's see. I would say it's probably morning now. This is John Unell from Schuylkill Haven, Pennsylvania, aka John I Fly. I hope everybody is having a great weekend. This was scheduled to be on 9/11, and it just turned 17 minutes after midnight Eastern Time, so it's technically uh, September 12th. But I just wanted to speak a little bit about 9/11. This is 20 years ago, as you may all know, that our country was attacked viciously by Al Qaeda. Of course, at the time we didn't know who did it. Both towers of the World Trade Center were slammed into by airliners, hijacked by these terrorists. And as everybody knows, the towers did collapse and close to 3,000 people lost their lives because of these evil terrorists. So they had some ceremonies today, and I hope that you all got to watch it. Very sad situation. There's a local man, offhand, I think his name is Figueroa. It's a funny name, Italian, Michael. They did a piece in the paper tonight, but he was like 37 years of age, and I think his name is Figueroa or something. It's, I believe, an Italian name, Michael Figueroa, and he was a broker. And he was attending some sort of a meeting on the South Tower on the 105th floor. And when the building was attacked, and unfortunately he did not make it out. His family, who lives locally, by the way, his one sister lived in Cressona, PA, which is probably a mile away from me. It's right next door, practically. And they have a write-up in the paper tonight about him, and it's a shame. It's a shame. They never heard from him since, so it's assumed that he was killed in that attack. But so 20 years, and this is the first time, by the way, that we don't have troops in Afghanistan. Like I said before, I have my own opinions on the subject, but I think when this happened, yes, I think personally President Bush had a right to go and attack these terrorists. Their main objective, of course, they found out that it was Osama bin Laden that was the mastermind behind everything. And eventually he was killed under President Obama's administration. But after that, that's when I feel we should have got out. But no, they drug the war on for a total of 20 years. And just recently, President Biden pulled the rest of the troops out. And he got some Afghanistan people who were translators for us out of the country, but I think I heard there might be either 100 or 200 more people left. Now, I know they just recently had another flight out, I think a flight or two. So they're working on getting them out, but and of course people are criticizing President Biden. I'd love to see these people trying to do it, see how good they are. But hey, and let's not forget the Republican governors. My God, you know, they're complaining about, and not only that, Joe Biden came up the other day with mandates for federal employees that they have to get vaccinated, and if they don't get vaccinated, they have to be tested once a week, I believe that is. And you know what? we have to do something about this. We can't keep catering to these, right-wing extremists. Oh, I have my freedom, they keep saying, Oh. But where are the new cases coming from? The South. It's unfortunate. I'm looking over my notes here. President Biden had a speech on Thursday, September 9th about this, and I'm reading here, let's see. He plans to mandate vaccination against coronavirus to upwards of 100 million people. Let's see if I'm reading that right here. Yeah, to upwards of 100 million people. Now, get this. Over 175 million have been vaccinated so far under President Biden. That's a lot of people. But compared to only 2 million Americans fully vaccinated when Biden took office officially. So that goes to tell you what the previous administration was doing. In the beginning, they didn't even say it was, that was just a Democratic hoax, don't you know? Yeah, okay. Obviously, Trump didn't care. He didn't want to do anything about it. I guess he figured he'll dump it off on President Biden. President Biden's up for the challenge, by the way, people. He's doing it. I have confidence in the president. Totally confidence. Far better than the other orange-haired dingbat that we had in before. But yet, Trump wants to have all the credit. What the hell? No. I look at the results, and the results so far are positive under President Joe Biden, not Donald J. Trump. Now, President Biden, during his speech, he did state that we are in a tough stretch, which could last for quite some time. He doesn't pull any punches on the subject. I'm telling you, he's up front, and he'll tell it like it is. It's refreshing to have a president that does that and who's honest, and lays it out and tells the American people the way it really is. And I'm glad for that. It's about time we got back to a president that acts like a president. And he keeps the American people informed. That's fantastic. He did stress, too, that the pandemic nowadays is a pandemic of the unvaccinated. I cannot understand, people. I can't understand why it is that they just, they're just hung up on this freedom. Well, nobody's taking their freedoms away. But you know something? Like I said before, it's a medical emergency. A medical emergency. You can't sit there and, I'm sure President Biden knows this, but you can't please everybody. But he has a main goal in mind. The thing is, our country, the world has actually been under a pandemic. That's what it means, it's a worldwide thing. But there are countries overseas that have gotten their act together and they have the numbers down, but not us. They're going up for us. So President Biden had to take stronger actions. And what's happening now? Some of these Republican governors, we can't have that. And they're going to threaten to sue the Biden administration? Give me a fucking break. Pardon my language. Makes no sense. I don't know what. And then I'm sure that they're going to use this in the 2022 campaigns, if not sooner. People, we got to use our common sense. Think. We don't pander to the base of any parties, okay? This is a medical emergency. I don't know how many more times I can say it, but it's a medical emergency. Instead of worrying about politics and politicizing everything, we need to concentrate on the fact that there are people dying out there. They're dying. Unbelievable. And now our children are getting infected by it. You know, you would think that, well, we see all these children dying. Maybe we better take this seriously and line up with what President Biden wants to do. But no, they're fighting them all the more. It makes no sense, people. It makes no sense. As far as Biden's speech, he had 6 points. And I didn't jot them down here. There's some details in it. I figured that it would be the best thing to do is to go to whitehouse.gov. President Biden mentioned this in his speech. He said, if you want to know in detail the 6 points of what he is wanting to do or has already done through executive orders, what have you, go to whitehouse.gov. White House is all strung together. It's White House, not separately. whitehouse.gov. Go on there, and there's a link, and it's called The Remarks by President Biden on Fighting the COVID-19 Pandemic. That's exactly what it is. When you open up that page, it should be on the left side. Click on that, and they do have his speech in text form, and you can go through those 6 points. I'm really proud of President Biden. I really am. He seems to be the only one, and the Democratic Party seems to be the only one that is concerned for the American people's health. You know, there's a lot of other things that are going on too, you know, the infrastructure plan. He's trying to get that through Congress. Of course, Joe Manchin has to try to throw a block in that. He doesn't want $3.1 or $3.5 million, or $1 trillion, I should say. He wants to cut it down to like 1.5 trillion, which means that some things will have to be lopped off the bill. They're going to be discussing that very soon, but we got to get that passed, people. We got to get, and this is why I stress all the more. We have to start voting more Democrats in, and I might add, let's not make them razor-thin majorities. We got to do more than razor-thin, because people like Manchin, whatever, right now they have that, you know, they realize they're, you know, they've got some power there. If they don't want to pass a bill, they say, well, you know, we can't afford this, blah, blah, blah. As far as I'm concerned, we can't afford not to do anything. I mean, you know, bridges are crumbling, infrastructure, you know, what are they going to do? Wait until we have another accident again? Maybe a bridge collapse with cars on it? You know, or structures of building collapsing? Like what happened in Miami area, Miami Beach, with that condo collapsing or whatever. Unbelievable. So, that's basically all I had to talk about. Yeah, today was sad with the 9/11, so I did get a chance to watch the ceremonies. It made me fill up, I'll tell you. It's, after 20 years, I can still remember what was going on that day, and briefly I'll just share that particular week. We had, of course, a local knitting company, a textile company, Fessler USA Knitting, and we were kind of slow with orders, so I was laid off for the week. I happened to fall asleep on the sofa, and I, of course, left the TV on CNN. I woke up around 7 o'clock in the morning. You know, normal programming going on, and I drifted back to sleep. But when I woke up the second time, I think it was like 9:15 or so, 20 after 9. And here already, one of the they had on the TV that showing live footage of the one of the World Trade Towers. I believe it was the North Tower first. Had smoke coming out and flames and huge hole in the building. And of course, I was fully awake. I called my sister-in-law up, Gail, and I told her, I said, Gail, put the TV on. I said, you're not going to believe your eyes. And eventually, I went down and spent some time with her. We were watching the whole thing, and I was watching after the second plane hit. The buildings were just smoking and were flames licking out of the windows, and it looked like to me the building was getting blacker and blacker, and I just had this sneaky suspicion that that building is going to collapse. And sure enough, if it didn't, I'll tell you what, I didn't know what was going on. It was frightening. For those, who were not aware or weren't alive during that time, or maybe were born and were just toddlers, I'll tell you, it was frightening. I mean, there was a lot of unknowns. Who would do this? How many more attacks were going to happen? I mean, was it just going to be the Twin Towers? Well, we found out later that the Pentagon was attacked. And then there was another plane that they figured that it was over Pennsylvania. The hijackers took it over. And there was a group of people on board that were brave. They were heroes as far as I'm concerned. They didn't think of their lives. They thought of what could possibly be happening, because my understanding is they got word they were calling people. People had their cell phones. They were calling their loved ones and finding out that, hey, the World Trade Centers are attacked, and the Pentagon was attacked, and they kind of figured, hey, we're under attack. Terrorists are attacking our country. So they made a concerted effort, and they decided to storm the cockpit. Now, this is before they had cockpit protections. And unfortunately, but fortunately in a way, I mean, they had to crash the plane. They all perished. But they prevented another terrorist attack. It was believed that they were going to attack the Capitol, the United States Capitol. It was a very stressful day. I'll never forget it as long as I live. But anyway, we made it through. We did get the evil bastard Osama bin Laden a few years ago, and he was shown justice. And now we're dealing with domestic terrorism. On the 18th of this month, which is a Saturday, and I'm looking at my calendar here, I'm not sure what time it's going to be, probably early afternoon. I don't have a time yet on it. I'm sure CNN's going to cover it, the networks are going to cover it, but there's going to be a rally, get this now, by the right wing, the extremists, to rally behind the people that were wrongfully jailed, because of their insurrection of the Capitol building. This is a rally to support the insurrectionists? Are you shitting me? Really? I mean, come on. Has the Republican Party gotten that bad? I'm sorry to say, but yeah, I think they did. Now, I've always considered myself a Democrat. For a while, I was an independent. But because of recent events over the past few years, I've changed back to Democratic Party. I realize that the previous Republican Party, yes, they're considered conservative. And I don't consider myself conservative. I usually consider myself middle of the road to slightly left. I'm tending to lean more left all the time in light of what I'm seeing. The Republican Party is not the party of progression. It's the party of regression. Let's go backwards. Let's pretend it's 1950s and 60s all over again. Anyway, all I have to say is we just got to have more Democrats in office because they're the party of progression. Remember that, people. They're the party that is concerned that you have proper health care, that you're able to have Social Security, all these things. The Republican Party is only for the rich. My mom used to say it over and over again, and it's the truth. They're for the very wealthy. They're for the big corporations. They're not for you. And these people who are Republicans that are like my one cousin is, he sticks with the Republican Party. What does the party ever... The party doesn't even know he exists. They could care less. They're worried about the big donors and the corporations. The filthy rich, that's the ones they're worried about. Just remember that. Anyway, that's all I have to say right now. I want to thank everybody for listening. Remember, you can find me on YouTube as John I Fly, and that's all small letters, Johni, F as in Frank, L as in Love, Y. Or you can find me on Facebook under my real name, John, or Unell, that's Unell. And on YouTube, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Always like the videos. And don't forget, comment. I do read the comments, and I'd love to know what you think. It's going to be an interesting next few weeks here in the month of December. I'm looking forward to the Democrats getting together, having the January 6th commission, and hopefully they'll have more subpoenas brought out and get these hearings going and bring these idiots to justice, these insurrectionists. All right, well, again, remember to like, subscribe if you haven't already, and share. That's what I wanted to tell you. Feel free to share my videos, and I hope to talk to you soon. It's getting late, and I need to soon get my rest. But I wanted to get this out. I wanted to get it out Friday, and it didn't work out. But I need to upload this, and hopefully I can get another video at least by Wednesday, if not sooner. Okay, take care of yourself, and I will talk to you people soon. Have a good night and the rest of your weekend. Good night now.